Good evening, everyone. We're going to call our Tax Incentive Review Council meeting to order. Skylar, you want to give us a little rundown?
I'll
you got a brief. I think you had a brief review of this, correct?
I did have a brief review of this. So we are calling this. I do believe we have quorum. We have our 3 trustees, our representative from Hamilton County Auditor's Office, Mr. Greg Jarvis, and then, if you don't mind, will you introduce yourselves from each school district?
I'm Ben Van Horn, the treasurer of Great Oaks, Creek, Kansas.
Do we want them at the microphone, Skylar?
It'll pick up.
I'm Beth Weber. I'm the treasurer at Sycamore.
I'm Chris Penner, the treasurer at Princeton.
Okay, thank you.
Nick Davis, Indian Hill Exempted Village School District.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Thank you all for attending.
Thanks for coming.
So this is a 10-person body, so we do have quorum. And Greg, who wants to kick it off? You or I?
You go ahead and we can answer any questions.
Okay. All right. So essentially, we're coming together to review. Essentially review revenue and distributions of our various TIF agreements. I can tell you that the document that is on the screen and was provided to each of the members here. This represents essentially this is broken up by school district, but it is a breakdown of revenue received from each TIF district. There is this is a sheet that's provided by the county. So the county has TIF project numbers, and we in turn have our internal numbering code. So we're trying to reconcile those here. The stars here are simply highlighting which TIF projects are pertinent to each school district. So again, this first one's Deer Park. We look at the revenue for the half year of the prior year. That is calculated out based on the TIF agreement. We submit that calculation to the schools for review. Once that's approved, then we do dispersal checks. So everything you're seeing tonight, these have already been approved and submitted. So I wasn't going to go down each one of these and break it down, since that's already been done and agreed to. But if there's any questions with this document, we can certainly focus in on it. Greg, is there anything you want to chime in on from this?
No, I appreciate the effort in
Okay.
putting the data together. And so Dusty and I split up the Turk meetings all throughout Hamilton County. I do most of them, but he does some of them. Just the west side of it. Here in the city of Cincinnati, actually, is Thursday afternoon. I was telling Skylar before the meeting, that used to be an all-day meeting. And this is, I first started doing this many years ago. The city, like every year, they reorganize their economic development departments. As a result, their records were in disarray, to be blunt about it. And they put a couple of individuals in charge who really did a bang-up job. And now that meeting is now down to about 2.5, 3 hours. So they of course have TIF, between TIFs and enterprise zones and CRAs and other incentives. They have thousands of parcels involved in those meetings. But anyway, my perspective is the Sycamore Township use of the TIF through the years is exemplary. I mean, this is, I don't have to tell you that, I'm sure, but I think and I'm sure the school districts will agree as well. So just a general comment, I think these projects have been, this is why we have these programs like TIFs, as far as the benefit to the local governments. So I'd be glad to answer any questions, but
Anybody have any questions?
I would just comment, thank you from Sycamore. All payments are always very prompt.
yeah.
Always do a nice job of saying, please verify this so that we can turn it around for you as quickly as possible. So just commending your staff for doing a good job of administering
Amen.
funds as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
Does everything appear to be in order with everything?
Yes, yeah.
Excellent. Hey, as
And
you
I
probably-
actually had Timmy Disk, who is our residential expert, our in-house expert, and deals with all the, distributes revenue to all the school districts, cities, villages, and townships in Hamilton County. She's reviewed this as well, and she concurs with my conclusions.
Excellent. Yeah. So,
Okay. If there is no other business to attend to, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
A second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for
Thank
coming
you.
down.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we are going to call our CIC special meeting to order. We need the roll call for attendance. Mr. Porter.
I guess Mr. Kellums, he's absent.
Absent.
Mr. James,
I'm here.
Mr. Weedman,
Present.
I'm here.
Ms. Swegman, present, and
That's it.
that's it, right?
Larry?
I believe that's it. Okay. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from March 1st. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve the March 1st, 2022 CIC meeting minutes.
A second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Ms. Swegman.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye.
Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the April 5th special CIC meeting. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve those minutes.
A second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James.
Aye.
Mr. Weedman.
Aye.
Ms. Swegman.
Aye.
I'll vote aye.
Next item on the agenda is the Economic Development Grant Program update. Skylar, do you have that?
Yes, sir. So I have on the screen for you the expense report for the CIC fund. We have monthly expenses are the top number, and year-to-date is immediately after, with a comparison of monthly expenses from last year as well as year-to-date. So aside from, we have obviously been making grant payouts. Aside from that, we have property taxes, some small amount of bank fees, and then other expenses accrued are
Insurance.
payments to accountant, insurance, and if we have an outside auditor. So,
Okay. Any questions? It looks to me like those people who were, some of the rebates may have been, did we have any rebates from people who claimed that they didn't work at that location?
I don't have a full record of that.
Okay.
So I do know that we are currently reviewing some applications, but we're trying to verify, trying to acquire all of the proper documentation to justify that,
Okay.
that grant.
Okay, any other questions? If not, the date of our next meeting is going to be Tuesday, September 6th, 2022 at 6:45, and if there is no other business, we will take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
A second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
6
Okay, we're going to call our meeting to order. If everybody would please rise for our invocation.
Heavenly Father, thank you for watching over us and our community. Please look after our leadership as they are servants of our community and to you. Give them wisdom and guidance tonight as they make decisions on behalf of our community. It's in your holy and precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Everybody, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Porter would note that all three trustees are present. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes from June 7th. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve the June 7th, 2022 trustee meeting minutes.
A second?
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James?
Aye.
Ms. Schwegman?
Aye.
Mr. Weeding?
Aye. Next on the agenda is public comments. Is anybody signed up?
I already answered. The questions are already
Okay.
answered.
I would like to make a public comment.
Yeah, so if you just come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record, and you have 4 minutes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Thanks for the great leadership here in Sycamore Township. My name is Bill Kramer. I live right in the heart of Sycamore Township, although it's Blue Ash, number 9 Heritage Road on the golf course. And what I would like to do is see if I can get a resolution. I passed out earlier a list of the clients. I've been doing fire department consulting work since 1977 when I got my PhD in organizational management and started applying sound management principles for various fire departments. My background, I went through the ranks at Cincinnati Fire to assistant chief, went on to be fire chief at the Indianapolis Airport, and I was a township fire chief up north of Deerfield. Now, I spent 5 days here in Sycamore Township assisting my attorney friend Larry Bennett in an organizational improvement exercise. Larry and I worked together. Our efforts were interwoven. We jointly drafted action items with for Chief Rob Penny and his organization. By the way, you have a quality fire department, first-class fire and EMS service. The difficulty, I think, might be a technicality. Larry was paid. I sent a separate invoice that was not paid. So I met with Chief Penny, who I respect, and the chief said, well, we thought that we had $11,000 set aside to cover you and Larry. He did a little further research, and Rob, correct me if I'm wrong. He said, oh, well, no, it was really only 4 for Larry. So I've sent a couple of emails requesting clarification and maybe to get my $3,000 invoice paid. Now, today, or actually 2 days ago, I sent a letter, an email to the chief, to Tracy Kellums, and to Debbie, indicating that we were still unpaid, this was still unresolved, but here's what I would like to do. I have 2 charities, and I said, I don't mind if there's a technicality and you're supposed to only deal with the attorney. I'm fine with that. He is willing to send another invoice under his letterhead, or this is a less expensive and a more holistic approach. I suggested that in lieu of paying that invoice, I would accept a $1,000 donation to either one of 2 charities, either the William Kramer Scholarship Fund at the University of Cincinnati. You could even earmark that $1,000 for a Sycamore Township firefighter, or Scarlett's Fund. This is a fund I manage myself. It deals with animals who are injured in fires. It's called Scarlett's Fund. Scarlett was the mother cat who, one by one, carried 5 kittens out of a burning garage in Brooklyn, and she was badly burned. Her eyes were shut. She licked each kitten to know they were safe before she collapsed. Scarlett and the 5 kittens were taken in. They all survived and got homes, but 12 years Scarlett lived there, but she recently died. So what I would like to say, see if there could be some action here tonight that would either give $1,000 to the William Kramer Scholarship Fund or $1,000 to Scarlett's Fund, and we would eliminate the delinquency notice. Since 1977, several hundred clients of mine, this is the first time I've had to list one of my clients as delinquent, and I really admire the service you give here and the quality work at the township, so I hope we can resolve that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Kramer, we do have a legal dispute here, and there are reasons, and I think sound legal reasons, why your invoice has not been paid. I know that you have retained an attorney, Steve Halper, because he called me and left me a message. I haven't had a chance to speak with him yet. We're not going to air out in this meeting what the legal reasons are why you haven't been paid. I'm not supposed to talk to you directly about that anyway, since you're represented by counsel. I will make it a point to talk to Steve Halper. I'll explain it to him, and then we can go from there.
Great. I hope we can be amicable. I hope Scarlett's Fund will be enhanced. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else on the list, Skylar?
We had one resident, but we talked before the meeting.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
yeah, okay.
Next item on the agenda is the Sheriff Patrol Report. Mike?
We did, I don't know if this was related to Tracy, I was off all last week, but we have filled all but one spot for the detail for the truck rally. All but one spot is filled for the detail officers.
You were going to go 2 during the day.
2 during the day.
And 6
I
at
think
night?
it's 5 at night.
So you go at 5. Okay.
Don't quote me on that. Sergeant Sovereign was running, but he said we're one short in the evening, and if we have to, we'll just pull a car, put one of the on-duty cars there
You know what?
if needed. They'll just be in the area. They're all aware of it anyway.
So 6 was in anticipation of alcoholic beverages being served,
I believe so.
and it doesn't appear to be alcoholic beverages being served at this event.
Okay.
So that being the case, we may be able to go to 4. I mean, I'd like for you to get back with Tracy on that, just to
Will do.
double check.
Yeah, it had gone unfilled at least until last week, so.
I'm curious, why does it appear they're not being sold?
Because they don't have a liquor license.
Okay.
Be a
Understood.
pretty
They
good
were
reason.
on that. That would be a very good reason. Interesting.
That's all I have.
That's it? Okay, any questions? Next item on the agenda, EMS and Fire Report. Chief?
Good evening, everyone. The storm we had last Monday really took a toll on us. In the 36-hour period, we had 76 runs. And we had 39 EMS runs, 23 fire runs that included a structure fire, people stuck in elevators, cleanup, and then we had 14 runs of wires down, or some kind of run involved wires. So they've been pretty busy with that. And then also Saturday was our car seat week, Saturday, and we got 13 residents that showed up.
That's great.
And the guy that did it said it was just the right amount of number of people, because he was able to explain, it wasn't rushed too much, and he was able to explain how the seats go in and kind of educate the public on how that works. So it was a good event, worked out well. That's all I got.
Any questions? Okay. Next item on the agenda is Roads Maintenance and Recreation Report, and we have Steve, you're here tonight to fill in for Tracy.
Yes, I am,
Who's on the beach?
as usual. So first, I'd like to give the Parks and Rec report. The Midwest Food Truck Rally will be held Saturday, June 25th, from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. at Bechtold Park. I know the community's excited about that, getting a lot of good response back. There will be a parking shuttle run, from what I understand, from Deer Park High School, the Township Administration parking lot here, and from across the street at Bechtold Park, the Community Lighthouse Church of God. Roads report. As Chief spoke about the storm damage, our crews have been busy as well. Our crews have responded to currently 171 brush pickups. We still have 50 remaining to attend to. And would just like to remind our residents that there is a 48-hour policy for our residents to call in any brush pickup. After the 48 hours, we will go out and pick up the brush, but it's a $50 pickup charge. Or the other option is for the residents, first Saturday of the month, they can bring the brush up to Township Administration Building, and we will chip it for free. And the next scheduled brush chip is Saturday, July 9th. And then I'd just like to give a shout out to our brush crew who's been working around the clock. Danny Lehan, Brian Weinel, Alex Conover, and AJ Beach. And also like to note our office assistant, Sharon Johnson, for basically handling over 200 phone calls and emails. And they're still coming in today for the brush pickup. So thanks to our great staff.
Amen on that.
Update on some of our projects. Our township curb and resurfacing program, which is going on in the Kenwood Meadows subdivision, basically from Miami Hills Drive south to Euclid, all those streets. Was told today that our contractor, Pru's Construction, will begin saw cutting the curb on Monday. So basically the contractor will be notifying all the residents on Friday of the no parking requirements on the street. So just want to make our residents aware that they will be should be on the lookout for temporary no parking signs in the locations where the contractor is going to be working, and the contractor will be delivering door flyers. Largeview Drive, Plainfield Road improvement project continues. Plainfield Road, basically all the curb work and traffic signal installation is complete on Plainfield. We will do the resurfacing of Plainfield Road in conjunction with Largeview paving. Largeview Drive, the contractor currently is ripping out the pavement. They began at the intersection at Eldora Drive, and they should be up to Mantell by the end of this week. So they're making good progress.
That's great.
Yep, and putting in the aggregate base course. So ask our residents to be patient. It's starting to pick up steam, and they're progressing well. Kugler Mill Road, the project is basically complete. The contractor's completing a couple punch list items. We should be getting a final invoice within the next month, so we'll be closing out that project. Montgomery Road Sidewalk Project, which is from Stewart Road to Ken Arbor. Our consulting engineer, Strand Associates that we hired, they'll be submitting preliminary plans within the next week or two on that project, and want to let everybody know we will be scheduling a public meeting to get comments from residents and business owners along the corridor and anybody that uses those facilities, and we're going to schedule that late July. As soon as a date and time and location scheduled, we'll send out mailings and post it on our website. The Gideon Lane Culvert Improvement Project, that is in the design phase as well. Our consulting engineering firm, Carpenter Marty, should be submitting preliminary plans for our review comments later this month, with construction tentatively scheduled to begin late this year. Last project I have listed is that's progressing well is the Donegal Drive headwall improvements. That's at the intersection of Donegal and Gualata. We will be holding a pre-construction meeting with Ford Development on July 13th, and after that we will have a definitive time schedule on the construction of those improvements. That's all I have for now.
Okay, any questions?
I have a few if nobody else does. These may be things to address with Tracy or you, I'm not sure.
Okay, I can
Yeah,
possibly help.
I know he's been copied on some of these
Yeah.
emails. Some residents behind the CIG project have been complaining now that Happiness Way is open because there has been commercial traffic on there, and apparently hospital delivery traffic even, where we've supposedly banned commercial traffic through there. I don't know if there's much we can do about that right now.
Okay.
But that's a conversation to have.
I will look into that.
And something else to consider going forward too, I've mentioned this to Tracy, but the contractor that was doing work on the Kugler Mill tidying up, I guess, and Duke was doing some work there too, but the contractor kept parking large equipment right on Charter Oak Drive immediately off of Kugler Mill. It was creating a danger. And then they parked a small dozer there a little further back at least where it didn't block the visibility, but they leave it there over the weekend. Is there anything we can do with our contractors to encourage them not to leave stuff on city streets and dangerous spots?
Yeah, we try to keep an eye on them, and we do have a full-time inspector, so I will make it aware to our inspector to tell them to park their equipment in appropriate locations that would not cause a safety issue.
That would be good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Steve, thank you. Next item on the agenda is planning and zoning report. Schuyler?
Okay. Thanks, sir. Very quickly, the Sycamore Township Zoning Commission met on June 13th. We reviewed 2 cases. One was a PUD 1 for Tate Products. That was an additional building on their site, approximately 24,000 square feet. Tate Products is it's a light industrial neighbor of our Station 93 firehouse to the north on Deerfield as it turns into Bain. So they will be doing essentially a large expansion of their facility there, and looking forward to.
Where's that going, out the back?
Yeah, it's in the. I apologize. I should have brought the plan tonight, but it's essentially in the northeast corner of the property.
Okay.
So there's at the far rear of their property is their storm sewer detention area.
Yep.
It's going to be immediately above that. So it's
Gotcha.
going to be the building, their detention, and then it's actually our salt dome and
Right.
our area right there. So
Perfect.
good location, completely surrounded
That's
by
great.
light industrial. Made a lot of sense. So, the other case before Zoning Commission was case number 2022-10Z. This is a zone change and SPUD that was approved unanimously by Zoning Commission. This is the Kleinfelder Capital project going on or proposed for Montgomery Road. So that will be in front of the trustees on July 13th at a public hearing at 6:15. This was a very quick zoning commission meeting. I expect it to be even quicker for trustees. So we're only going to take a half hour for that.
Okay.
And we probably won't even use all that.
How many people you have show up to that?
One resident,
One resident?
maybe 2 residents,
Okay.
if I recall. Yeah. Everyone was in favor. We had one resident that essentially raised a question, concern that was addressed.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
yeah. Okay. Other than that, I actually have 4 resolutions for you tonight. So I'll get to the listed resolutions, and then I'll introduce the 4th. I actually have the 4th on the screen, but published agendas are different. So let's see here. First item is a resolution for 4181 Largeview Drive. I'll read the resolution. Providing for and authorizing removal of vegetation, garbage, refuse, and other debris, and declaring a nuisance for the property located at 4181 Largeview Drive, Sycamore Township, Ohio, 45236. So this is rubbish and garbage. It is owner occupied. We have made numerous attempts to reach out to this resident. The date of the first violation letter was all the way back in September of last year. Show you some pictures. essentially material that they refuse to move, building materials that have been stacked up. We are still receiving complaints from residents about this one, so we are staying on it.
Okay.
So-
Do we have a motion?
I move we approve the resolution as presented.
Second?
Motion and second. Any further discussion?
I do have a question, I guess, since we started contact so far back. Was there any visible response whatsoever from the
None.
resident? No cleanup of any?
No.
Really? Okay.
They just left it. You know, again, with residents, we bend over backwards, you know, especially if it's owner, we can verify it's owner occupied. We'll give them all the time in the world. There's, you know, but at some point, we have to finally pull the trigger and say, look, enough's enough. The neighborhood is impacted by this. We're moving forward. So here we are today.
Okay, any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James?
Aye.
Ms. Schwagman?
Aye.
Mr. Weedman?
Aye.
Okay, our next two are junk vehicles. Let's see here. I'm just going to go ahead and read this one. A resolution providing for the removal of junk motor vehicle in Sycamore Township, Hamilton County, and the proper disposal, storage, or impoundment of motor vehicle by implementing the procedure set forth in Sycamore Township Resolution Number 2012-14 and Sections 505.173, 505.85, and 505.871 of the Ohio Revised Code. This is a junk vehicle that's located at 12098 3rd Avenue. This is a property that we've been currently working on. There's other junk vehicles. We're going to send essentially a wrecker crew to go get everything, and this was the last vehicle that was not originally identified. I haven't spoken with the owner about this one in particular, but I'm pretty sure that this one will not run. So we haven't verified that necessarily, but I'm gonna put my reputation on the line on this one.
Got to hook a horse to the front.
Yeah.
So unless there's any questions, we're ready for.
Did you read the title?
I did.
Okay. I move we adopt approve the resolution as presented.
Second?
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James?
Aye.
Ms. Schwagman?
Aye.
Mr. Weedman?
Aye.
Junk and trash debris on this site was actually cleaned up last week, at the very end of the week. So we are making gaining some ground up here. So. All right, next one I have is for 12083 2nd Avenue, very similar situation. I'll read the resolution. A resolution providing for the removal of junk motor vehicle in Sycamore Township, Hamilton County, and the proper disposal, storage, or impoundment of motor vehicle by implementing the procedure set forth in Sycamore Township Resolution Number 2012-14 in Sections 505.173, 505.85, and 505.871 of the Ohio Revised Code. And similar situation. I'm going to put money on it that it will not run. So.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move we approve the resolution as presented.
A second?
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James?
Aye.
Ms. Schwagman?
Aye.
Mr. Weedman?
Aye. You've got a fourth one, right?
I do have a fourth one. So do we need a motion to add a resolution to the
I don't think we do,
the
do we?
agenda, or how's that work?
You've got it on the agenda now. I think that's
Okay,
enough.
it's up here. Okay, so because of the combined, we're trying to time these public nuisance resolutions between this meeting and now we're going to have a bit of a gap. I'm expecting a pretty heavy load of resolutions at our next meeting. But this is a tall grass resolution that if we wait another 3 weeks or more, we're going to be in some serious trouble. So let me pull this one up for you. Well, I thought I had it here. Okay, well, I guess I'm just going to have to show you. I'll read the resolution. This is a resolution providing for and authorizing removal of vegetation, garbage, refuse, and other debris, and declaring a nuisance for the property located at 6510 Kugler Mill Road, Sycamore Township, Ohio, 45236. And actually, if I go out one more, here we go. So these pictures are pretty dark, but against the new sidewalk, you can see this is pretty tall through here as well as in the actual yard itself. So the pictures actually attached to the resolution do it a little more justice, but you can see this is pretty tall already. So we have given proper notice to the resident, to the property owner. We believe this to be a vacant house. We've rushed the paperwork to get it here tonight. It has not been rushed as far as our notices to the property owner.
Okay.
Is this the house for sale down at the corner, or what? I'm trying to place where that is.
Honestly, sir, I've been looking at so many properties. I'm kind of at a
No, I don't
loss
think
of
so.
where
Judging
this
by the
one's
fence,
at.
no. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so I've read the resolution.
We have a motion.
Those are
I
my
move we
questions.
approve the resolution as presented.
A second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James?
Aye.
Ms. Schwagman?
Aye.
Mr. Weed?
Aye.
Okay, unless there's any other questions for me tonight, that's all I have.
Any other questions for Skylar?
I have some, you and I discussed this previously, I guess, but the project next to Jewish Hospital and the occupancy of the upper floors, which is now occurring with additional temporary certificates from the county. Have we had any progress with the county or with the developer? I know you had a conference call last week about that, I think.
I did. I had a call with the county building official, and then there was a follow-up with one of his subordinates. Essentially, the county is going to continue to expand the temporary certificate of occupancy. I have been assured that they will not issue the final CO without not only the township, but also other agencies that are involved in this project giving the final okay on it. So there are still some outstanding zoning issues that need to be addressed before they can get their final CO, as well as some site work with Soil and Water Conservation District. So there's, I'm being assured that they will not pass that final CO.
Okay, just as you know, some neighbors have some
I
serious
understand.
concerns about the appearance of the property, and we're citing other residents for their property.
Yep.
Here.
I understand. I appreciate their concern, and the teeth we have is that CO. I'm told we still have it. So,
Thank you.
yep.
Okay, any other questions? All right, next item on the agenda is the Law Director Report. Larry?
Thank you. I've got two items tonight. Assistant Fire Chief Gerald Cooper today submitted a signed retirement and general release agreement. If the trustees want to approve it tonight, you can do so by motion. I would suggest first moving to amend the agenda to add this to the agenda, and then we can, after that, then do a motion.
Okay, do we have a motion to add this to the agenda?
I move we add the retirement and general release agreement with Gerald Cooper to the agenda.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James?
Aye.
Ms. Schwagman?
Aye.
Mr. Weed?
Aye. Now we need a motion.
Now you need a motion to approve the retirement and general release agreement with Gerald Cooper.
I move we approve the retirement and general release agreement with Gerald Cooper, which he executed actually yesterday on the 20th day of June.
Yeah, they gave it to me today, so.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James?
Aye.
Ms. Schwagman?
Aye.
Mr. Weedman?
Aye.
Okay, the second thing that I wanted to discuss is the next item that's on the agenda is a resolution amending Resolution 2007-38, to prohibit sex offenders from residing in any and all locations which are prohibited by law and declaring an emergency. And as you all know, in 2007, the Board of Trustees of Sycamore Township passed a resolution which did this same thing and attached an Exhibit A to make it clear where the places were that the sex offenders could not live near. Over time, that Exhibit A has become obsolete in that some of the places are no longer in business, some new places that would be prohibited have moved into the township, and we need to update and amend that resolution. We're doing it through this resolution, and we're supplementing and updating and amending the prior one because we don't want anyone who was previously in violation to be grandfathered. But this new resolution will not contain an Exhibit A. There is much greater definition given to the places, the definitions of the places where the sex offenders can't live. We spoke with the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office and the person that's charged with enforcing sex offender statutes for Hamilton County and consulted with him on the resolution, the best way to do it. And it sounds like the best way, and this would be consistent with the way Hamilton County does it, is to not have an Exhibit A because it changes. But what we need to do, Skylar, and I know you know this, is to keep an Exhibit A in the township zoning office, so that you can change that when necessary, but then we won't have to do a new resolution every time. So that if people have a question about where they can live and where they can't, they can then refer to the zoning office and the Exhibit A there.
Okay.
So,
questions are, is there any way to do that as a CAGIS overlay where we'd actually have a map and it would be obvious to anyone?
I will have to build that by hand, and that's a project I'm happy to take on. Off the top of my head, I'd be hard pressed to give a time when I could do that. It might take me a couple weeks, maybe a month.
That's too cumbersome. I mean, you got a lot more on your plate than you need to.
Right, if it's not automated. Then,
Once there's the potential we could get to that point, I'll look for solutions on that.
And I interrupted, I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. I was just going to read the title of the resolution. It's a resolution amending Resolution 2007-38 to prohibit sex offenders from residing in any and all locations which are prohibited by law and declaring an emergency.
I move we approve the resolution as presented.
Second?
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James.
Aye.
Ms. Schwagman.
Aye.
Mr. Weaver.
Aye.
And Skylar, you actually have the resolution to be passed around, right?
It's being circulated right now, and
Okay.
the original resolution is attached.
On this witness, do you need just two of us to sign? Is that?
On the...
Oh, wrong one, wrong one.
One person needs to sign on behalf of the township.
Actually, do we need to designate somebody to do that by motion?
I don't think so. It's been approved. Usually the administrator does it.
Okay.
I don't know when Tracy's coming back, but usually we have the administrator sign on those things once the trustees approve.
Okay. And how about on the Cooper one?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, so, on the witness line?
No, Tracy's on behalf of Sycamore Township.
Gotcha. Okay.
Did we need somebody to witness Cooper?
Nah, it's not required. You can do it. This isn't a real estate.
Anything else, Larry?
Nope, that's all I've got.
Okay. Any questions? Administrator report, purchase orders over $5,000.
Yes, sir. Tonight we only have two purchase orders. The first is a PO 22-249 to U.S. Bank in the amount of $27,000. This is a PO for use of the credit card, and department heads are all the department heads are anticipating that this will cover credit card use through the rest of the year.
Okay.
The other item is 22-252, PAR Public Safety Equipment, in the amount of $6,370.14. This is the equipment to outfit the new cruisers.
Okay.
I move we approve the two purchase orders presented.
A second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James?
Aye.
Ms. Schwagman?
Aye.
Mr. Weaver?
Aye. Okay, anything else on the administrator report? That's it?
I'm sure Tracy's eating ice cream right now.
Yeah, I'm sure he is
just
too.
gonna I'm just gonna put money on it. Yeah. That's all I have, sir.
Okay. Fiscal officer report?
Yes, we had cash receipts of $485,284.29, disbursements of $375,170.38. A complete listing of all the receipts and disbursements is available in the packet.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I move we approve.
I second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Mr. Porter?
Mr. James?
Aye.
Ms. Schwagman?
Aye, sorry.
Mr. Weaver?
Aye. Trustee comments? Tracy?
Well, I think after this meeting, I think everyone has a full appreciation of what all of our staff members, whether it's the fire department, front desk staff, or our roads and maintenance crew, did to take care of our residents and clean up our township after last Monday's storm. And I appreciate the numbers that you all provided, because I think it adds another layer of context for our community to understand exactly what you folks do, what it takes to clean up after that storm. I actually happened to be out at one of our local establishments dining when that storm hit and drove past your crews. They kept power, and let me tell you, their phone was ringing off the hook. Do you have power? Do you have power? Do you have power? I think they did a mean carryout business that night. But I drove past your crews, and I drove past many limbs down, and I even had people in the establishment who knew me came up to me with photos of trees down in their backyard, and they said, how do I get this cleaned up? And I said, take it to the curb and call the township. They will come and get it within 48 hours. So I think also thanks should go out to you, Tom, for staying in contact with Duke while you were on vacation, while they were on vacation, with our Duke rep to keep tabs on restoration of power. I know that there were quite a number of areas in our community that were out for several days and muscled through that, but thanks for your efforts on that front as well. I know the township residents appreciate it.
Okay.
And to go to the food truck. Everybody go to the food truck rally on Saturday.
I'll again add to what Tracy had to say. Thanks to all the crews. I know they worked hard to do all of that. And as you noted, Sharon was fielding phone calls there, and that woman is a saint. I was here for part of those phone calls she was fielding, and some people were not very nice about having their power out, I will say, because it's very frustrating to be in the dark and in the heat. And so thanks to all on staff who were fielding those calls and taking care of that with people's frustrations during that. That's all I've got right now, I think, so thank you.
Okay. All I want to say is great job by our entire crew, and looking forward to seeing everybody at the food truck rally on Saturday. It should be a lot of fun. So it's going to be a good family event, so hopefully everybody will attend. Announcement changes: monthly brush chipping, as Steve mentioned, is July 9th, 8 to 4. Public hearing, zoning case 2022-10Z. That is on Wednesday, July 13th. That will be at prior to our meeting, as well as a public hearing on the tax budget. And we have changed our meeting. In July, we're going from 2 meetings to 1 meeting. Instead of the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday, we are going to the second Wednesday. So that'll be the 13th of July. If there is no other business, we will take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.
7:39.